Hello everybody, it's Dragana here from Saacibo. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make one of these. They are eyeglass cases. Hold your reading glasses. I suppose they can hold your pens as well if you don't wear glasses. You want to have like a pencil case. You can do that as well. But they are also bookmarks or journal closures because they have this elastic thing at the back and they wrap around your book or your journal, and I think it's very practical and also a nice addition to a journal. It can even be like a journal closure in the shape of a eyeglass case. And what is really good about them is that they don't need a lot of materials, and even better, you can use up your scraps, like little bits and pieces of fabric from other projects, your leftovers, some lace, and things like that. And I think they're just so gorgeous. You can even make them as gifts for your loved ones. It's almost Christmas time, and if you want to make little gifts for your family members and friends that are really unique and special and that you add your own twist to them, this is a really easy project. I made another one here. There it is. Really, it's just, I'll show you the process. It is basically fabric collage that you turn into an eyeglass case. It's like an art piece, really. But I had so much fun making those too, so today I want to show you how to make them. Okay, let's put them aside, and first I'll show you what you need. For this project you will need some interfacing. Interfacing is kind of like a fabric or thing that has glue on one side. Alright, I'm using a really cheap and thin one because this is just to hold my pieces together while I'm stitching. It's not going to add too much texture or thickness to my project, but it's going to hold things together until I join them. So you'll need a piece of that is about a little bit bigger than 8 by 10 inches. And why I'm using bigger piece of interfacing is because once you stitch everything down and actually once you iron everything down and stitch, things tend to shrink, and you want to make sure you have your final piece 8 by 10 inches. So I always start with a slightly bigger piece. Okay, so you'll need that. Then you'll need the lining. That's the fabric that's going to be on the inside. This. Okay, it can be anything. It can be old shirts, old linen or tablecloths or anything like that. Something like this. I choose really soft fabrics for the lining, nothing too thick, because if it's too thick it's going to be difficult to do the final stitches. Okay, so I will use this one, and I also make this a little bit bigger than this because I'm going to trim everything before I start sewing. So you'll need interfacing and lining. Let's just use that one. You will also need something to make it a little bit thicker, especially if you're using thinner fabrics, because you want something to protect your glasses. You don't want it too thin. I made one without it, and it's actually difficult to close. It's too thin. Doesn't really offer any protection, so I think it needs something thicker. And if you have heat and bond and things like that, you can use that, but I've found these are really cheap. They're like cleaning cloths, but look, they're like really a couple of millimeters thick, and they're not too soft, but they give nice structure. They hold the shape. So I will cut out a piece that is the same as this, and I'm going to use that as the backing to make my project more durable and thicker. You will also need a button for the closure and just some elastic. It can be a hairband, you know, just some elastic piece that can be used as a closure. And you will need this as well, about 11 inches. I think this is the right size. Just let me check. Yeah, this is 11 inches. All right, so if you're going to use this on a bigger journal or a bigger book, you can actually make this a bit longer, but I find that even 11 inches can be stretched even on a bigger book like this. You see, it's elastic, it just stretches. It can even go further, so, and yet you don't want it too loose, you know, so I find that 11 inches is about right. So now for the front piece that we are going to glue onto this interfacing, that's the front part, you need some pieces of fabric, lace, whatever you have that you want to use. Like I did here, you can tell that there's like 5 or 6 different materials here, and I'm going to use something that was sent to me in a happy mail by Steffi. Okay, so if you've seen my last video, there's an unboxing video of all of the beautiful items that Steffi sent to me, and there was some fabric pieces, and I want to make this using these bits and pieces that she sent me, because I really like these materials and the lace, and I just want to create something with what she sent me. And I'll just show you quickly the ones that I've created earlier, just so that you get an idea of what kind of pieces of fabrics you might need. Okay, so this is one. It's not finished, it's just glued. Now I need to stitch it, obviously, and finalize it, but I just wanted to show you that for this you can use any shape or size of fabric pieces that you might have. You see, this is like a round, this as well, this is a trim, probably end of a dress or something. You know, whatever offcuts you have, you just rearrange them so that they cover the whole area. So now I have this one as well. They're basically collages made with fabric. Alright, and then there's this one. You see, it's some leftovers that you might have used to create something else. Could be stripes or squares or round shapes, anything really. And this one I had a bigger piece, but I also had some lace that I wanted to use. So I'm going to trim this off, of course. This one as well, the blue one. Okay, like the triangle shapes, any shapes really. You just place them so that they cover the whole area, so there's no empty spots, and then you stitch. Even this, I'm going to just zigzag stitch here, and that's going to be one as well. Now over here again we have the diagonal one, and you know, this was missing a piece, so I added one there. And this one, my favorite. Okay, lots of rounded shapes that just work well together. And then once we stitch this together onto this interfacing, then we can add other elements like lace, little flowers, bits and pieces, you know. But for now, we will just do this first. You start off by placing your interfacing so that the part with the glue is facing up. I don't know if you can see, but the glue it's got a bit of shimmer. So on this side, it's you see it's dull, so that's the wrong side. This is the side with the glue, and you melt this glue when you iron. So we want the glue to be up. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do this. Steffi sent me a piece of this jeans, and I want to use a little bit of that. So I don't need the whole piece, so I'll just cut a little bit. Alright. And I'll just cut these bits off because this would be too thick to go through my sewing machine. And this as well. So I'll just place now, and then later on I can move it around. Maybe I can have this. What's really good about this project is, like, the more various these shapes are, the better results you get, you know. If it's all just straight and squared, well, your end result might not be as interesting as if, you know, you had some odd shapes here and there. Thinking for now. So you just turn bits and pieces different ways until you get the shape that you like. Okay, maybe I can have that there. What else do we have here? We have some of these lovely fabrics. Look how gorgeous they are. I'd like to put some of that somewhere, and maybe some of this. And then there's this lovely fabric that Steffi sent me. Ah, already has a round shape here. Definitely can use that. Let me just see where it would look good. With the round shape here. Like that. We do this. There's no right or wrong, you know, you just place things where you think they might look good, and then you know, you move them around. You just see what looks good, you know. There is no real recipe, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just, you know, you work with what you've got. So I'm going to cut that off. Just thinking whether I want this on top or the blue on top. I think I want the blue. That's a beautiful fabric with these shiny bits and pieces, so like that. And I want some of this fabric here, so I will perhaps just cut that bit there, and I'll put this And I want more of this over here. Oh, it's almost... Because we made this a little bit bigger, I can safely put this inside of this and that'll be enough. I think I want this on top, and maybe even I want this just a little bit trimmed like that. Alright, so I didn't use this one, but I could have used a bit of that instead of this and then leave that for another one. Or maybe we'll just have this. I just really like it as it is. Okay, we can have more of this somewhere, but we don't have to, you know. Perhaps that would be, just see, we have a little bit there in the corner. I'm started again, my usual. Turn it this way, turn it the other way. Oh. This is that I want to try every possibility before I commit to any. I don't know, I'm terrible with that. I think like that, but I want to add some more of that blue to this corner here. Need a piece like this, but this is the wrong way up. Perhaps I'll just there we go. It's good enough. We can add that there as well, but maybe it won't be visible. Alright, so I think that is it for now. So now we have to iron this. Remember how we have this sticky, it's not sticky yet, but the glue is on this side, so when we iron, this will be fixed in place. And because this fabric has those sequins, I want to make sure I don't melt anything, so I'll just use this on top. And it's best to do this on a medium to high heat, but not too hot, you know, because you don't want interfacing to glue too soon. You might end up with bubbles, and you just do that. Let's see, it hasn't really glued yet, so because this is a thicker fabric. I'll just put it up a little bit more. Okay. Now it's good to do it from this side. And I usually work from the middle toward the corners because this is a really thin interfacing and I don't want it to melt or glue unevenly, so just like that. Okay, let's see. Oops. Now this is not glued because there is no interfacing underneath, so for that bit there I'll just add this to hold it in place while I'm stitching, just to pin it. Now this as well, you see this part here, there is no interfacing, but the rest is holding enough. And we ended up with a little bold spot here, but that's fine. I'm going to add something there, perhaps lace or later on. So now what I need to do is take this to my sewing machine and I would do a zigzag stitch all around where those pieces join, and also I probably won't do this way, but just these stitches that are in the middle. And I have just plain white cotton thread in the bobbin, and I have this lime green on top. For this sort of project I like some contrasting color threads, you know, but you can have any thread you like. You can even, if you have some gold or silver, that would look nice as well, but I'm just going to be using this one. And I just have ordinary needle, nothing special. I'm going to do a zigzag stitch that is 1.5 millimeters long, that's what I mean, and 2.5 wide. That's the zig and zag. Okay, so let's start. This is going to be noisy, I apologize, but that's my sewing machine, really old. So as you can see, I try to do really close to the edge. This denim fabric has a bit of a stretch to it, but it's fine. If you miss, like I did here, it doesn't matter, you just go back. Now what I like to do is just do a few of the, you know, stitches around. You can do decorative stitching, whatever, just do a few in the middle, especially if you have a bigger pieces like this one. Just, you know, any freehand. It's just gonna hold everything better. here. I haven't joined these two. And I need to join this one as well. I'll just do one more. And I want to do some extra. And perhaps some over here. That is done. This is what it looks like on the back. Alright, as you can see, it did shrink a little bit in some areas, but that's alright. We will cut off all the excess. I'll just do a bit of ironing once more. That is enough, so I won't be needing my iron for now. Okay, so this is our front piece, this is our lining, and I like to put them like that together, and then I can see how much I need to cut. Now with this, I think I want to cut more towards that edge, because if I do it this way I'm going to lose this little bit, so I'm going to cut it like this probably. Okay, so I'll just line up this like so. Okay, and for cutting you can draw around and use your scissors, but I'm going to use my cutter. This one, it's just easier for me, and I'll just follow these lines. I actually cut this off from just a piece of ordinary cardboard, you know, the packaging cardboard, because I was making more than one, and it's easier to do it this way than to measure each one separately. So I made myself like a little pattern. Okay, so be careful if you use these, they can be very sharp. Okay. this to the side. Okay, let's have a look what we have. That is our final piece, and now we have to decide what is going to be the pocket and what is going to be the flap. So we'll just try both. I think I like the other way around. I like this as a pocket and like this as the top bit. Okay, so we have our lining, we have our front piece. Now we need to cut this as well, and with this we don't need so big. So if we do all the way, it is going to be really difficult to turn it inside out, and it will make those corners not very neat. So we're going to have a sewing allowance of 1/4 of an inch. That's how we need to cut this smaller, just to get to here, like this. I'll show you. Alright, like that. So I'll just make a little mark here and here, and then line this up. See if I got it right. Yeah, I did. So for this part, it would be nice if you have something like heat and bond. You can just glue it onto this, and it would definitely make your life easier. But I don't have it, so I'm just going to use a little bit of glue stick just to hold it in place while I stitch. Okay, just a little bit. Just like that, and I would let it dry. So now I need to take it back to my sewing machine, and I want to add some other element to the top bit. Okay, I have some beautiful lace here that Steffi sent me. This one, thinking if I want a little piece of that, perhaps, or maybe this one, just a little bit somewhere. You know, if we're going to have it, did we say this way? To decide where I want it. Oh, where's that one? This one. We can also add this later on, once it's done. I think that would look nice, wouldn't it? To have it there on the top. Or even here, where we have that empty bit. Like so. Just check we had it like that. What would that look like? There's also this one. No, I think I want this, but I don't want it all the way here. Kind of like it. Just there to cover that. But if I cut it there, would it look awkward? Probably. What about that? have this one. I think I want to do that. And there's this lace. I just want to add a bit of interest. And again, let's just check what it looks like. Once it's closed, this is going to be here, so it will be partially visible or not. If I have this day, I think that would look interesting, so I'll just add this bit here. And a little bit here. And for this area, I have to add something, but I think this flower would look good. Crochet flower. Like so. Okay. We didn't use this anyway, but I suppose we can add that later on, like I did here. Just like that, we can have a look what it looks like this side, or even no. I think I will take this back to the sewing machine. Again, I will do a zigzag stitch here and here, and I'll just stitch around this flower. Okay, remember how we put this back? So these few stitches that I'm going to do on top, I will work with this layer as well. It will help it to stay in place because it's not a hidden bond. So this way, the few stitches that I'm going to do now, they are going to make sure that layer stays in place. Okay. I might do a straight stitch for this one, and I'll just start in the middle of this ribbon like so. Alright, and now I'm going to do a zigzag stitch. Okay, and I'll do the same here. And I want to go this side. You can see how it caught onto this as well. Now the flower. I just like to do a straight stitch all around. Okay. Could have done a better job of it, but it's alright, it's going to stay in place. Suppose I could go again with the zigzag stitch. That might improve its appearance. Let's try. Actually does look better now. Let's trim off these bits. That's what it looks like. I did go with zigzag stitch just on top of a couple of times, as you can see here and here and here, just to make this more how do I say, compact. It's a bit of quilting, just a freestyle. Alright, so that is it. So, and I think we decided this is going to be the bottom, that is going to be the top. Something like that. So you fold approximately 3 1/4 of an inch, and you leave the same amount, a bit less here on this side, so that when you fold it gets to about half. Alright, and we need to put the elastic now, so I like to put it in the middle, so I just attach it to the front piece. Just find the middle approximately. And like I said, the elastic is 11 inches long, and it is 3/4 of an inch wide. You can use, if you have a decorative one, you can use that as well, or just white, whatever you've got. I think I'm going with black because there's a bit of black here, but any color would look good. If I had blue, I would use blue, but I'm kind of limited in my supplies. I only have lots of white one and only a little bit of black. So that's going to be there, and we'll just leave that like that. So, okay, so the lining, it's a lining, and if this is our pocket, we need to actually sew this end first. So you take your lining, and if this is the wrong side, you make sure the wrong side is facing up, so that the right side and the right side are facing each other, and you just place it there like that. Secure it with some pins or these clips, and now we need to sew straight here. I'll probably turn on this side and I'll just do it just next to this. You know, this actually moved a little bit, so I might have to go over it, but you just make sure you're about what is it, half an inch or a bit less, 1/3 of an inch or half an inch stitch there. Okay, I'll just do that quickly and I'll be back. Okay, and if you can see, that is 1 centimeter, whatever it's like, I can't see properly. It's 1/4 of an inch or a bit more. And on this side, I tried not to catch this, but because it moved, I caught a little bit of it there, but that's fine. I can trim it off maybe. It's not going to make a huge difference. Okay, so now what we do is we turn it like that and like this. So you line it up nicely. And it would be good if you iron this now. It will just give you a nicer and smoother finish. So I'll just use my iron. Just want to make sure these stripes are lined up. What they should. Use a bit of steam. So what I do now, I take it to my sewing machine and I do a close slip stitch, or what is called just a straight stitch along here, just to secure that. I probably didn't cut properly. See how it's a little bit uneven, but that's alright. This is a handmade product, and all the little imperfections are actually what makes them really beautiful, you know. You can tell that it's handmade. So I'll just quickly stitch that and I'll show you. I hope you can see. Just a close stitch to the close to the edge. Alright, so now again we take this now to the other side. You know, we did that, but now we open it up. Again, the right side facing the right side, and we take it to this side. And we clip just the edges. So we need to leave here about 4 of an inch opening for turning. So if this is 8 inch, we need to leave about this much of an opening, 4 inches. So what we do, we stitch from here to here and from here to here only. Hope you can see what I've done here. I stitched from there to there and from there to there, about 2 inches, 2 inches and 4 inches opening. Okay, so let's have a look what it looks like now. So that is going to be the front pocket and the flap. Okay, so what we need to do now is again measure 3.5. Did we say 3.5? Or was it a bit less? Just do like that. 3.5. We want this 3.5. Yeah, we want this like that. So you lift up this and you leave that. just put these clips there. Okay, so you have this, and then you turn it the other way around. This is a bit fiddly. Okay. So as you can see, that's where we clipped, and that's where this needs to fold. So this and that, like so. This is our clip we put, we'll just include this as well, and the same here. This is the depth of the pocket, we just fold there, like so, and we use that clip over here. This is the clip that's holding the elastic. We can now do that. So make sure the elastic is in the middle so that it doesn't get caught where it shouldn't. Okay, and you have this situation. And that's how it's supposed to be. Alright, so now this part, you just press it down and you see where it's straight, and that's where you need to stitch this. Don't worry about that, that's just like that. So we need to now stitch here, from this end to that end, like so, there and there. Alright, just a straight stitch. That's what we have. I managed to stitch without catching this. See, just, I hope you can see this. This is what we end up with. Straight stitch here and straight stitch there. So what we do now, and we cut off these corners on a diagonal, like so. Not the white one, just the black one. And if anything's sticking out too much, I would cut it. Okay. Alright, so now we need to turn it inside out slowly. We don't want to damage. This lining fabric is really delicate. Just slowly. And you end up with this. So now you put your thumbs in here and your index fingers there, and turn inside out. Looks good. And that flower is so cute there. Alright, so now we have to work these corners. If you have like something like a pencil that's not too sharp, but you know, just to push a little bit, but don't push too hard. You don't want to make a hole in it. Just a little bit, like so. Okay, just trim off. Oh my god, it looks so cute. I really like it. Wow. So now we need to iron this first. We're going to close this, but we have to add the elastic that we're going to use as a closure. So I'll just press this a little bit here, like that, just to make sure it stays like so, and this fold this raw edge on the inside, like that. so that it stands. Great. Okay, so now we need that piece of elastic, and for that, if you don't have elastic, you know how you buy it in a few meters, you can use these. Just get them, they're quite cheap, and you need about 3.5 inches, and they are a bit longer than that. We don't need this metal bit, so I'll cut that off, and I'll just measure this. This is a bit longer than what we need, so I'll just cut off roughly about there. And now these ends tend to unravel, so I'm just going to use lighter just to stop it from unraveling, just to melt it like that. So, and we want to put this there in the middle, but I've done this so many times. I prepare everything, I put the clips and everything, I come to the sewing machine and they just split apart. So the way I do it, I just use a little bit of plain tape. This one. If I can find the end bit. Just a clear tape, just a little piece. And then I do this. Just join them. Like so. So they're not going to move now. And it's going to make my life easier. And now I have to find the middle here. So now this is 7 inches, and we need to place these at 3.5. So I'll just put a pin there to mark the center. And that is where it needs to go. Alright, I'll just clip it. So what I do now is I go to the sewing machine and either do a zigzag stitch or straight stitch along this line. You can do it from this side as well, but anyway, you know, like if you are good with sewing and you know exactly where to sew to make sure that this opening is closed, you can do it from this side, or you can do a straight stitch from that side. So I'm going to do a wider zigzag stitch from this side just to make sure I catch both ends. Alright, and I will be back. I did a zigzag stitch from this side, a wider one, if you can see, and it did catch the opening. I did stay off the line a little bit here, but that's alright because that end was stitched previously, so nothing is opening, everything is secure, and that part, it looks really cute. I sew the button on. It's basically just the button there. I measured like this where this ends to put the center, and then that is the button. Now let's test it if it fits. It's a perfect fit. Really nice. I love it. I love how this turned out. It looks so cute. Let's see what it looks like on the book. Nice. And there's room to even put bigger journal or a wider book. Oh, it's just so cute. I love these fabrics that Steffi sent. It's just so nice. Alright, so that is our little project for today. I hope you find my instructions easy to follow. Please feel free to leave any questions for me in the comments. I will put a link in the description box below to my website, where there will be a free PDF pattern for this project. I mean, this is basically fabric collage that you turn into a practical and useful piece that you can include in your journals if you make them, or make as gifts for your loved ones, like I said earlier. And I think they're just just gorgeous. And you use up all your little bits and pieces and scraps. If say if you have a shirt or a jeans that are your favorite and they no longer fit, and you know you just want to have a little something left, you don't want to throw it away, you know, it's a great way to reuse and recycle and make pretty things. And these buttons here I actually altered, and my next video is going to be on how to do altered buttons, so I hope you can join me for that one. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon. Bye for now.